This is Joshua Farnsworth. Welcome to my traditional woodworking school. In this video, professional Windsor chair maker Elia Bizzarri will show you how to add a wedge to a round tenon on a chair spindle. Wedging is a great way to tighten up a mortise and tenon joint.
So I've cut off the back of the seat and shaped it, and we're ready to start gluing up. And I just wanted to show you this one that's a little further along, and just show you what the wedges look like. So that's the wedge there in the tenon. So that's what we're going to be doing here in a minute. So I want to go ahead and make these wedges, and you can see they don't really go in that far. There's only about a 1/16 of an inch wide wedge in there, but that's plenty to tighten up that joint. So put this out of the way here. And you can do this on the bandsaw or you can do it by hand. I'm going to show you how to do it by hand just because it's fun. This is a little block of straight grained hickory, and I'm just going to split a wedge blank out of it. There we go. So now I've got a parallel sided straight grained object there, and I'm going to put it in my little fancy gizmo here and just push, and then flip it over and push, and you can see I got about half a wedge. I didn't quite take enough off, but I've got taken about half off the wood I need to, so I'm going to take one more stripe. All right, that looks pretty good, but it's tapered. I don't like that, so I'm going to try and fix that. See how it's thinner over here than it is over here. So just one little more pass, clean that up. Oops, drop it on the floor first just for good measure, and there you've got a wedge. Now, one thing I like to do is just take my chisel and bevel off the end just a touch so that doesn't fold over and keep my wedge from going in. So there we've got a wedge, and I think we're ready to glue up. Let's get this out of the way. One last thing that I like to do to my tenons is to scuff sand them. So I take a piece of sandpaper and just do like that real quick. And so when we drove these legs into the seat, they can get burnished, and the burnished surface or a very old surface doesn't adhere glue real well. So I just scuff sand it like that to take the old, to just get a new surface on there basically. Doesn't take much, this is really fine sandpaper, and there you go. So now we're ready to glue up. Get my seat down here, flip it upside down and put it on these blocks. I like to put 2 blocks on the spindle deck, making sure that my leg holes don't run into those blocks so that my tenons don't hit the blocks, and then 1 block right on the center pommel here. And that kind of keeps it stable while I glue it up. So get my glue stick and my glue brush and my everything. Actually, I might not need the stick for this. The hole's big enough to get the brush in, I think. So you can use a lot of glue on this brush because the end grain of the mortise, or the end grain of the pine mortise really absorbs a lot of glue. And because the hole isn't blind, there's no danger from putting too much glue in there. The glue can escape without any problem. So I'm going to put glue in all the mortises and then put glue on all the tenons. So bear with me here for a second. Boy, I'm really going to have to clean this brush out good before I use it tonight on my teeth. All right, now get it on the tenons. I might have ought to have done just 2 holes at a time, but this will be all right.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying watching our video so far, and I just want to take a few seconds to let you know about our traditional woodworking store, which you can visit while taking a class or by visiting our website at woodandshop.com/store. You'll find our amazing products to help you grow in traditional hand tool woodworking, including in-person and video woodworking classes, woodworking hand tools and workbenches, woodworking plans, traditional wood finishes, shirts and hats, and cool hand tool woodworking gifts for you or your loved ones. Okay, back to the show.
All right, so this is the front leg. Double check that before you make something stupid happen. Push it in there and drive it on home. I guess I'll go ahead and do my rears while I'm at it. So I'm just buttering the end of the tenon down to my tick marks here. That's how I know how far to put the glue on. I don't know if I've mentioned, but one of the reasons why you ream the holes is because of this operation right here, where you're trying to put this in, and you'll notice that I have to spring the legs apart to get them into those holes. Which forces the tenons out. If those holes are cylindrical, the tenons would bind on the mortise and keep it from dropping in, whereas with these tapered joints, you can just very easily spring them apart and then they flop right in. Another reason for reaming is that you lost my train of thought. Another reason for reaming is that you can very easily control the angle of the holes. It's easier to control the angle of the holes reaming than it is boring. So you get a little more control there. So I'm going to butter one side of this wedge. I only put glue on one side of the wedge because if the mortise ever shrinks, it'll give the mortise a place to shrink around that won't affect the joint. I got some really long tenon sticking out here. I must have done something screwy when I was reaming, but I still think it'll be all right. I'd like a little more wedge in there, but I think that'll be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and wedge all 4 tenons just like that. Sometimes it helps if you keep the leg vertical. So I'm going to hold that leg vertical while I drive this wedge in. And just watch. Sometimes you'll get cracks right around that mortise. So just watch that so you don't keep driving and split your seat open. Oftentimes those cracks come if you haven't acclimated your seat to the shop well enough. So making sure that you bring the seat into the shop a week or 2 before you before you carve it is helpful, so it's acclimated to the shop. So that one my wedge isn't going into real well, so I'm going to split it open a little bit more with a chisel. Clean up my wedge here. There we go. Oh, that must be the leg splitting. I didn't saw my wedge slot deep enough, and so that popping noise was probably the tenon just splitting down a little bit farther, which is fine because I don't see any splits on the top of the seat. So made me nervous there, but I think I'm all right. So put the last one in and clean off the glue. We're going to cut these tenons off. But the glue is hard on your edge tools, so I want to go ahead and be real conscientious about cleaning all that glue off so I don't dull my edge tools or get them clogged full of wet glue. So at any rate, clean the tenons off and then I'll show you how to cut them down. I'm ready to cut off my leg tenons. I haven't bothered to let the glue set. There's no reason to. So just go ahead and saw it off here. I'm going to saw it well above the seat because I definitely don't want to cut into the seat. Whack that off, throw it out of the way. And then the flatter the gouge you have, the better, just because it matches the curve of the seat better and you're less likely to dig into the seat. But I just got this one recently. I've had a much more curved one that I've been using and it worked fine. So whatever you've got, and then you're just going to work from the outside in, working around that tenon. I can't, this rear one, I can't get in there like that because there's no place to hit over here. So I'm just going to work from these three sides coming this way. All right, this is a good example. See how I'm not actually coming out of the cut, I'm going straight across. I'm going to back up and lower my handle back here so that I can come out of the cut before I go all the way across. If I go all the way across, I'll probably blow this back side of the leg out. So now I'm going to come back this way and clean that up. And just keep doing that until you get down to the seat. Now, really the next tool that, the next tool that you can use on this is the scraper. So you need to get pretty close to your seat so you don't have a tremendous amount of scraping to do. But that's pretty easily accomplished, right, like that. So maybe one more whack, but I think that looks pretty good. So I'll do that to all four tenons and just scrape it down a little bit till it's flush. When you're scraping it, you just want to be careful. So just scrape on the tenon, not hit the seat too much because the seat's softer than the leg and will scrape faster. So you'll end up with a little moat around your tenon if you're not careful. So scrape them down flush. I might scrape and sand the seat a little bit. You can see I didn't get very far in here, so I need to finish that up at some point. But there's no rush on that till I get ready to glue the back on. So I'll finish the tenons and we'll start thinking about the back here. We're moving right along.
If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking, come take a class at our school in Earlysville, Virginia. You can also visit our website at woodandshop.com, where you'll find a bunch of free woodworking lessons, workshop tours, and our very popular tool buying guides. And make sure you subscribe to our free newsletter to get our latest articles and videos. Enjoy!